What up, peeps? This is Alyssa, and I'm here with my co-host and faux little bro, Andre.
And welcome to another episode of Teachers Like Us.
If you're watching,
Look at our beautiful faces. It's finally happened. Hi.
I can't stop spinning. This is
Yeah,
going to be really hard for me to stay still.
Because you have problems staying still?
I do. I'm like a leg shaker, so I don't even know why that's funny.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right.
Like this thing, that little nervous tick that people do. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's an ADHD twick.
Yeah, man.
What's it called?
So, if you didn't know, you see the time. You should know exactly what time it is. Anytime the ever so well-spoken author, future Dr. Alyssa Great cannot speak and form sentences, you should know, past her grandma bedtime.
Listen,
Past
it. You're lucky I'm not yawning right now. Like, I'm exhausted. And also, today was wild. Let's just like jump into mental health check, and I'm gonna go first because today had me like. So today was actually an open house for new teachers. Yes. And so like I have a ton of things on my plate as it is. Like every time I think I'm getting through a to-do list, somebody's like, I got a new project. And I'm like, of course you do. I told everyone, like I'll tell all the higher ups, I was like, listen, don't come near this office anymore. Don't even put your foot in my office. So now one of the coordinating principals always just walks by my office and sticks her foot in my office and then keeps walking. But I'm like, nah, man, you guys just keep loading up my plate. I can't like get through it fast enough. So in any case, back to this open house. So we had to go set up the table for open house. And like, when I tell you, the stairs at our board office are not like, there's not a lot of stairs, but like you do them enough, you're definitely out of breath. Like,
yeah, they're like the Stairmaster, like even the incline. It's like literally like 6 steps to get to each floor, but it's like this.
You should see me every morning. So every morning I come in and I look at the elevators and I'm like, I could do this. I could take the elevator. And then I'm like, it's only 3 flights of stairs. Just take the stairs. It's a mistake every morning. I get to the top and I'm like, and like cannot breathe. People out here trying to talk to me like, oh, so did you? I'm like, I just walked in here. You don't see me trying to catch my whole life. Like, please. So I had to do those stairs multiple times today because again, we were setting up that booth. So we had to like bring things down and like, it was wild. But yeah, I still love my position. So yeah, sad to give it up, but I really like, I'm thriving. I feel like I'm thriving on all counts right now.
Well, you have time, so it's not like you're giving it up next week. You still have like a long time to prove to them, like, hey, the person that I'm covering for, just tell them,
no. That's not how we're rolling out here in these streets. Oh my goodness, I'm just trying to make me look awful. I'm just out here doing my job to the best of my ability. And yeah, whatevs.
Well, then my mental health check. So for me today, we had teaching that happened for all of the new resource teachers. So I'm
interrupting you because I forgot we were on camera and my phone was like lighting up. So I looked at it and made a face.
That's fine.
All right, back to business.
What's it called? We got like this big, we all sat in this big room. I didn't know there were so many people that got hired. But we all sat in this big
how
room.
many people were in that meeting?
I couldn't tell you, but it looked like almost 100. Like I'm borderline like 60, 70 people. I would say. I could be wrong.
But like the room was full is what you're saying.
The room was very full.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, go on.
So the teaching that they had today is called onboarding. So since we're joining,
why do you say onboarding like nobody has ever heard of onboarding
because
before?
It seems like a weird name to call it. Like it's just whoever invented it should have came up with something else.
That's a normal process of people's jobs. Like
okay, so regular 9-to-5 folk out there, onboarding. You should know what I mean. For the rest of the world, they had us all in a room and they said, yeah, we know you work for your department, but you need to know about all the other departments and how they kind of like overlap and work together. And I think it was a very good experience just so that someone like me who's never been to the board or never really interacted with different board departments, you have an idea of like what people do and who you can call on when you need help. And I think that's something that's going to help me in my role in the department that I work for, because now when I walk into a school building, if there's a problem or issue, or even if there's not a problem with the school and I need help for a specific area, I can now say, okay, this is kind of like out of my wheelhouse. Let me go ask somebody at whatever department, because they'll be better suited to help me in this situation. So that was really cool to be a part of. Got to meet some new people. Got to meet some
your favorite. You love meeting new people.
You know what? Like, you poke this fun at me, but then when I call myself an introvert, nobody believes me.
No. I was being dead serious, because you actually do like to meet new people.
No.
Yes.
And you know what? Let me not say no, because then it makes it seem like when I'm actually meeting people that I'm not being genuine. I'm not like Alyssa, who's like, run away from me. I don't want to talk to anybody. That's not what I do. I can still be friendly. I can still be nice. I can still carry conversation. I don't say like 2 words just to get me out of here. Like,
I definitely do. But you know what's funny? So today I was walking into the board office, and one of my friends like was walking in with me and was like, oh, you wish for sweater weather today? And I was like snarky today. I was like, this is not sweater weather. It's hot and humid. And she was like, whoa, like, she's like, normally you're so like smiley and happy. I'm like, that's funny. And somebody else said that I'm really easy to work with today. And I thought, me? And so I think it's really interesting the way
filling your head with lies.
Yeah, like I feel like it's super interesting the way people perceive me versus the way I perceive myself, because like I don't think those like nice things about myself. Not that I think I'm like a horrible person, but I don't consider myself overly friendly. I don't consider myself like, someone said I was easygoing. That's what they said today. I get me. I was like, I don't consider myself easygoing. I feel like certain aspects I am, but like I have like a job to do, and I just kind of like am focused on that. Oh, there's children here. No, you're gonna have to go. welcome to podcast videoing.
Exactly.
So yeah, this is gonna take like an extended goodbye, because they're not gonna leave. Good night. I'm recording. Bye. It's very different when we're audio recording it. I could just kind of like wave and be like, go.
Yeah,
now,
away.
Like, now you have to see it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get one of those recording signs to put on the door and flick on the light and say, "I'm live right now." Don't bother.
You know, these kids do not care. Like, mommy. So yeah, I don't even know what I was saying now. Oh yeah, like that, the way I perceive myself versus the way other people perceive me. But I thought that was interesting. I consider myself introverted. I don't mean to be like standoffish, but I just don't like, you know what it is? I hate small talk. I hate having to figure out what to say and like generate conversation. That's weird for me. And especially if I can't talk to you the way like we would just talk, right?
Yeah,
because I'm inappropriate. I say things. You know, like I say things. And so like some people get my humor, some people do not. And I just don't want to be that person that's like, they're like, oh, I'm like, then don't talk to me.
And
it's that simple.
I think for me, I kind of feel the opposite. I feel like a lot of people have like this negative view of me, and I'm always like, what can I do to change that? As much as some of the things you might be thinking might actually be true. But I don't need you to judge me. I need you to get to know me and then know that I don't like you. Like that's that's what I want to happen. But it's weird. I think even as like, so I know before we get into what we have to do today, going off of this fact that of how people perceive you, how do you think that like that benefits you as a teacher, or as like in your position now, that people kind of, even though we won't say whether or not it's true, but even whether it's true or not, if people are already knowing and thinking that, oh, I can go to Alyssa with anything, I can talk to her about anything, she's so kind, she's so friendly, she's such a shoulder that I can cry on, like how does that benefit you?
I feel like it especially in this kind of position where I'm quote unquote leading people, that it builds some kind of like trust or some kind of like belief in me that like, I'll ask Alyssa and either she'll get it done, she'll find out for me, that kind of thing. But I do realize, I think I either hit people one of two ways, right? Either if you ask somebody, like if you ask people in our board, like you ask multiple people who know me or who have worked with me, I think you'll get two very different answers. I think some people will be like, she is amazing. She is super friendly, like super kind. She's always smiling. She's always laughing. I definitely laugh all the time, even at awkward situations. But then I think there are a group of people as well who will be like, she's standoffish. She's bougie. She doesn't really talk to people. It's like her way. Like she's very like laser focused. She steals dance crews. Like, yeah. I mean, pew pew. Like we're just, like I don't know. I think
that secret, that little like that might be just as deep as pajama gay. That the people that know for that job that. Okay.
So like that's what I mean. Like I think again there are groups of people who understand me and then other people who are committed to misunderstanding me as a person. And truthfully, I think I'm like, when I say I'm introverted and that I don't really like people, it's not that I don't like people. I really hate small talk. Like at the end of the day, and I'm not gonna what I'm also bad at? Emails. So I'll get an email and someone will be like, hi, I hope you and the family are doing well, yada, 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 pretext, right? I will message back and be like, here's the answer that you're looking for. Okay, bye. Right? Like I don't engage in this this banter. Like I don't have time to banter. I don't think you realize my plate is full. And so if I'm emailing you for a purpose. I don't want to know how your day is, truthfully, because it is of no consequence to me in this very moment. Like if we're sitting and it's a friendly thing, then I'll ask you like, yo, what's up? But if I got things to do, I'm literally going to be like, see attached. And so, I'm me. I love me. If you don't love me, that's on you. But
I think also the what do you call it? The social media fame probably has a part to play in the
so weird.
The fact that people are kind of think that they know you even though they don't actually know you. Or the other side of it, like you said, where somebody might be like, she thinks she's so high and mighty with her 20K followers. I'm not gonna talk to her. And I think for me, like as a teacher, and then we'll move on to what we have for today. I think me as a teacher, I've come to the fact that I'm kind of content with people either knowing me, not knowing me, liking me, not liking me. And it's made me more focused on how the kids perceive me.
Yeah, fair. That's why we call you the student whisperer.
Yeah, it's made me more focused on how the kids look at me. And I know we talked on the pod before, like especially when this started, that like I think I started off teaching as like the kids that I was teaching, I was like a big brother or a cousin or something like that to them. Just like, someone I can look up to, but still very close in age, still very relatable. And I think even like the 2 weeks that I've been away, and I actually left the school, I got to go back to my school for their open house yesterday and got to meet just the kids that I left 2 weeks ago. Got to meet kids that are now in like grade 11 and grade 12 that haven't seen me for like 5 years, 4 years. And you got to see, especially with the families, like the families that know me. So like, I taught your oldest, but now your youngest is at knows me as well.
Not out here just giving out information.
I'll bleep it out. Beep. But it's been just really cool just to see like how much they perceive me. And that's what I'm finding so important, that all these relationships that you can have X amount of teachers over 4 years and still come back and go, oh my gosh, it's you. Where have you been? And that is something that I will take over really anyone needing to know me, needing to like get to know me, talk to me, And when I say anyone, I'm meaning like adults or colleagues that I work with. Like that stuff is cool. And the friends and colleagues that I've made, are they're special to me and all of that stuff. But that is something that's more important, I think.
Overall. Yeah, I don't know how I necessarily feel about like the need for people to like me. Truthfully, you know what I'm actually more concerned with? I want people to understand my value. So it's not necessarily that I need you to like me as a person, but like I realize I don't like when people talk to me like I don't know something. That will irk me. Somebody said something to me the other day, and I'm not gonna say what it is, but like they said something to me and I was like, yo, I know this already. Like I don't need you to tell me. And so I must have done one of these like
yeah.
And for those of you listening to the pod, like I do that. Like when I'm like, what, like, huh? Like I know. But I like people to see like the value, especially in things that I produce, right? Like because I'm a producer, like I can turn over products and like things like that. So when people are like, this is fantastic, I'm like, yeah, it is.
Thank you very much.
Feels good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
like, but that doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like me, like they're congratulating me. It feels like they recognize my ability. You know what I mean? Like it's not an inherent like personality trait of mine. It's just like I saw that you worked hard. I think that's what it is. Like I saw that you worked hard and you got this thing done. And like, or like other people couldn't do this, so I gave it to you and you got it done. I'm like, yeah, I did.
Of course. Why'd you even give it to them first when you should have gave it to me?
Yeah, like sometimes they'll say things to me like, I'm just wondering if you, I'm like, just send it. I got it. I'll handle it. And so, yeah. So I'm going to actually derail us because we had a pod topic today. No, we had a pod topic, but I remembered a pod topic that I wanted to talk about today because it's fresh.
Okay.
And it's kind of like on the scarier side. And we actually talked about it earlier today. And so there's stuff happening, you know, in our board, in other boards. And there are real people behind all of those initiatives, booklets that come out, strategies that come out, whatever you see that's a public facing document, it came from somebody, right? Somebody had the idea and then somebody or multiple people came together to say like, yeah, this is awesome. We should do this for our students.
Yeah. Keeping
in mind that everything that happens or all the decisions that are made for students. And so recently we actually had a teacher, as I cross my legs because it's serious, a teacher was doxxed on Twitter. And for anyone who doesn't know what doxing is,
give the background for doxing.
For anyone who doesn't know what doxing is, it's releasing your personal information to the public. So that way, like people can harass you, stalk you, do whatever. So this person was doxed via name and email. So they had this person's name and email, and obviously they know where the person works, or they can assume where the person works. And so that information right now is circulating, like it is out there. And there's like really hateful messages attached to this person, right? For trying to create community for students.
Yeah.
And so I was saying to Andre earlier today, I was like, ooh, like we just created like an equity document, right? And truthfully, like call a spade, equity is under attack, is what I'm going to say. And I don't like saying things like that, like it's under attack, but it kind of is, right? Like there's a whole pushback. We talked about the pendulum, right? And so I said, like, we fought to have our names on this document.
Yeah.
But like now, do we take our names off of this document to protect ourselves? Because what we do as educators now, especially in roles like this, where we're producing for an entire system, are now privy to the eyes of everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happens when somebody doesn't agree with that? What happens when somebody doesn't agree with, you know, which I think is ridiculous, but like you don't agree with anti-Black racism and that it exists. And you're like, no, like they shouldn't have anything. Like what then? Like this is a really like weird and scary place for educators to be in.
And
what do you think?
I think like not just educators, just people on a whole, to know that, you know, I don't know, I could have a weird tweet kind of go out. I could come up with I could post something on Instagram and have a following of people kind of disagree with it, and then have them go down this rabbit hole of trying to find everything out about me and then posting it to the world. That should be something that's scary, not just for an educator, it's scary for anybody.
Yeah, no, I
You
agree.
could double tap a picture and all of a sudden your house is on Google Earth and everyone's like, find him. He's right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that is creepy. But I think like as an educator, as somebody that's like, putting together documents and things like that, like you said, what I something that I faced, there was what was it, last year I worked on a writing team that's organizing, or not organizing, revitalizing a old document. And it came up like, hey, because that time last year they had done things like they were changing the names of schools and stuff like that, because information comes out about some of the people that we've named schools after, and some of these people should not have schools. And when the argument came up of like, hey, maybe we shouldn't put our names on this document, for whatever backlash could come and how that could affect the document, because we want the document to remain like, sound and true. For me, I said, me personally, I don't have plans to do anything wrong. I don't know about you guys.
It's because I'm gifted.
I don't like you. All right. But I was like, I don't really have any plans of doing anything that's going to warrant my name being stripped and stricken from the record and black taped and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for someone like myself, where I would say like my name isn't known in this space. Again, when I'm talking about perception, the kids love me, know me.
Mm-hmm.
Adult side, educator side, more academic side of teaching, unknown space for me personally. Like as far as my name is, I'm not like Alyssa, who had like her picture in People's Magazine and all that stuff.
The boost in your life.
But I wanted to make it clear that this is something that's important to me, and I know that I'm going to be keeping my integrity in check. If you guys don't want your name on the document, cool, take it off then, but mine is going to stay. And for that reason, I would still be against them trying to remove people's names off of documents.
And see, I'm like in a weird space, because on the one hand, I'm very like, again, I fought for our names to be on this document. Like, I was like, no, like after all the hard work that we did, they have to go on. Like, there's just no question.
And even to add to like, sorry, just to add to your point, like the name being on the document meant something, because I've had so much for this document in particular. I've had so much times where this document has been used as like the standard of like, hey, this is something that we want to create. And like, hey, Andre, do you think you can come up with something like this? This might be, really high expectation for you. And I have to say, yo, open and go to page 1. It's me. Like, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
Right. But go on.
Yeah. And I like, again, I feel really strongly about it. And I feel really strongly about, the content that we produced. On the other hand, as if I take off even my teacher hat and I put on my mom hat, I'm terrified. I think it is so harmful. Like, yeah, I think it is so harmful to, or scary to like have your name for people's like public consumption, right? Which is like saying a lot since I'm on social media, but it's also the reason that I don't post the kids, right? Or if I do, that I blur them out, because I literally find people scary.
Yeah.
And watching like the vitriol right now, in terms of people being very like anti anything, like anti woke is what they're calling it. I find so nasty. Like, I get that people have an array of beliefs. And I've said this in multiple documents that I've produced. I said, hey, you are free to have whatever beliefs you want, right? Whatever jives with your whatever. But the second you infringe on somebody else's right to safety or their right to belonging, like you've crossed a boundary, you've crossed a line. Yeah. And I don't understand why people think it's appropriate to turn these like thoughts and feelings into like hateful action and words. Like, I just, again, as someone who would never describe herself as like a kind and like gentle person, in my mind, I would never like want to intentionally cause harm to somebody. Right? Like if we're going back to like even talking about how we're perceived versus how we think we are, like even for people who don't necessarily like me for whatever reason, anything that has ever happened, stealing dance crews, time number 2,
or
was
talking
not
about high school teachers like you did in the last episode.
Oh yeah, you know what, high school teachers, you have been amazing because no one's come to me yet, but like all of those things are either done like in jest but like in seriousness, but like they're not malicious is what I will say, right? Like I'm not a malicious person, I'm not out to hurt people, I'm not out to like make anyone feel like really bad about themselves, but like the way that like society, public, whatever. And truthfully, like if I'm just gonna call people out. Every podcast now is gonna be a call out. Parents,
yeah,
right? Like parents, what are you doing and what are you teaching your kids? Right? You can have, again, whatever beliefs you have in your home. We can't control that, but you're sending humans into the world, right? Like Andre and I talked, what was it, 2 podcasts ago about like what happens if you disagree with things that are being taught in the classroom, right?
Yeah.
And again, we've talked about Andre being a Christian and like what that means for his values and morals and beliefs and how he's going to send his children into the world versus what he's going to say at home, right? He's not going to send hateful children to school.
Exactly.
That's not a thing. Like, and the fact that people think it's appropriate and normal, I think we've mistaken the activist, like, standing up for your community, standing up for your beliefs, with like hate. Like we don't understand where the balance is. Like you can stand up and fight for oppressed communities, oppressed groups, but like if all you're doing in your fight is oppressing another group, like what have you achieved? Like I think you've tipped the scales in a weird way.
Yeah, it's like bringing somebody else down to pull yourself up. It's weird.
Yeah.
Right? It's weird. It's something that really shouldn't make you feel comfortable, because how do you feel that you've accomplished something good? Like you've done something good for yourself but then destroyed everything else around you. That's something that makes absolutely no sense. And I feel like, I know you're talking to like parents, but this also goes to like just community members in general. You could be in the community where there's a school going around and you cut on the news and you hear something and all of a sudden you're now marching in the front of the school saying hateful things to children and parents as they walk by. Like all of that makes like no sense. I think what we should be doing, if we are actually a community, and funny enough, it's something that I say in my community group. So the community that I live in, we have a community group. It's a tight,
weird as hell.
Yeah, it's a very tight knit community. Because there's a lot of children in the community, and the kids are growing up together, going to school together, all that stuff. So there's a lot of talking that happens back and forth in this community. So if something goes on, everyone's kind of aware of what's happening, right? But there's been times that somebody in the community group will like say something that's super flagrant, and then everyone's kind of like, you can't do that, and you can't do that here.
Yeah.
Like, you can live here, cool, but if you're going to be doing and saying these things, you can't be in this spot. This spot is not okay to do that in. Because if we're actually a community and you actually have a problem, we don't need to be in our little groups talking. Step to my doorstep, because we're in the same community. Come to my doorstep and tell me what's going on, and let's actually talk and hopefully work on something where we're both going away better people, whether we are more informed, whether we are more informed or we just come to a place where we're like, okay, we disagree, but I get it.
100%. And I think that's what we're missing. We're missing any level of understanding, right? And understanding doesn't mean that like anyone is particularly right or wrong. It just literally means that you can see a piece of what someone else is bringing to the table. And I feel like right now we're in this really combative space where everyone is just trying to be right so bad that like it's like win at all costs. So I'm just going to be louder and more upset and more hateful and more like, it's just like, and more and more and more until what though? Until what and at what cost? Because the thing that I don't think, again, community, parents, even some teachers realize is that at the end of the day, like, and we say this all the time, you're impacting the students because the students have to live in this like tension, right? And so the way that you have conversations, again, in your house are going to be very different. Like, even if you, again, disagree, there's a way to kind of infuse your particular morals or whatever you're going to call them into students that don't make them come to school hateful of other people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure like the cornerstone of all religions, all like belief systems, all like humankind. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what you call yourself, like, not if you're not religious, like, you know what I mean? Like, all of your beliefs, or all of them, are like, we want to be happy and like respect one another and live in like harmony, right? Like, we want goodness for people. We don't want hatefulness for people.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really weird that we can't all come to at least that understanding of like human decency. Like, at the end of the day, I may not agree with you, I may not even like you, but I'm not like out here just like trying to like, oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Trying to like just mash up your whole life because I'm angry.
Yeah, people don't.
I don't know.
People don't. I don't even know how to put this in words. Like, people don't understand that. Like, even in this talk now, I feel like a lot of the times when we talk about, beliefs and traditions and stuff like that, it automatically turns to religion. And then now you have these religious groups and their beliefs. And because we're in a public school system, the public school system doesn't believe anything that we believe. And now they're indoctrinating our children and changing their ways from what we want it to be.
Yeah.
But what really should be happening, religion or no religion, is that all parents should be sitting at home with their children and saying things like, hey, what did you learn today?
Yeah, conversations.
Talk. Don't just look on your phone and in your feed and whatever you saw on the news. Talk to your child. Because what a lot of people aren't understanding is the conversations that you're having around your child about these different topics, they're bringing whatever hatred you're spewing at home right into the classroom. And even if they don't understand it or don't understand the person that they're dealing with, because you said this is wrong with, no context for them, they walk into a building and they go, I'm just going to yell all of the ridiculous things that my parents yelled, even though I don't really recognize them as ridiculous yet. So if you're actually just sitting at home and talking to your kids and saying like, hey, what did you learn or even if you don't have kids, I think we do that a lot of times too, where we're looking at parents.
The podcast is called Teachers Like Us.
I know, where we're looking at parents, but this is like, if you don't have kids either, like if you're just a person in the community and you know that you have like a hand or a pulse or an effect on the community and the people that are in it, talk to them, figure out what it is that they are doing in school. And if you are a parent and you have a set of beliefs and traditions and values that you're trying to instill in your child, like for me, I can give you one simple, because myself and my wife, we try to bring up a level of excellence, not only for ourselves, but for our kids. So for me, I don't want anybody thinking that my kids are like these dum-dums that don't know how to do anything.
Not the reg tags.
Right? This is like, there's nothing against any other child or anything like that. Like, just for me personally, I know my kids are very capable and I want the world to see that they are very capable. So I'm very hard. Like, my oldest is the one that's in school right now, and I'm very hard on her. Like, hey, don't be into school having people think you like you're this person that can't speak up for yourself, won't defend yourself, won't talk, won't have any sense, like, and don't know how to articulate and all that stuff. You can't do that. That's not who you are. But that's a value that I'm trying to instill in her. Like, you have worth, you have value. People need to see it, and if they don't see it, show it to them. Right? And if that's something that you're trying to do, that doesn't happen just by you, again, just yelling. Like, I could just yell at her and hope that she eventually gets it. But that could also turn to her going back to school and just yelling at people like, hey, see me, love me, notice me, right?
Love me, choose me.
Exactly. But if you actually have to have these conversations and build up their own like knowledge of these concepts. And if we are doing that, it's hopefully building a brighter tomorrow, because now you'll have kids actually coming together, talking with each other, and building that relationship.
Yeah, you know what this actually reminds me of? Why am I frozen? Am I frozen to you?
Yeah, keep going. It's okay.
Why so ugly? So in any case, one of the things that I thought about was, it reminds me of back in the 60s when Ruby Bridges was going to school. Oh, not me disconnected. When Ruby Bridges was going to school, and you had all those, and not just Ruby Bridges, but like the black, I almost said the blacks, and black people were going to school, and you had all the white people outside with the signs like, don't let them in the school.
Yeah.
It's the same vibe, and people don't realize it. Like, they can look at that photo in black and white and be like, those people were so hateful, but they don't see it right now, which I think is super odd.
Yeah, and I don't really know, like, again, other than the fact that people need to come together and talk and actually talk out these issues, and like we were saying before, like, just because somebody said something that you don't like doesn't mean that now you're going down the rabbit hole and finding their address and posting it online and saying like, hey, send all of your hate this way. You have to find a way to actually formulate your opinion and then talk to someone about it and get some understanding just for yourself, to make the world a better place. But I think we'll wrap up today's episode there.
You're gonna have to, because where did my camera go, friends?
Yeah, I have no idea. See, we're still figuring out issues. We almost got it. We almost got it.
We're so close.
But we are Teachers Like Us, and you can find us wherever you decide to put your subscription dollars. If you're looking to stay up to date from when we are dropping new episodes, you can follow us on Instagram at Teachers Like Us. If you're looking to see Alyssa, because I know you can't see her right now, if you're if you're looking to see her and see what she's going on with, you can follow her at
Alyssa G. Tighter.
And if you're looking to stay up to date with what I'm doing, even though I don't post as often, you can follow me.
But you're out here shaming me.
But you can follow me at IamAndre.m. And we will hopefully see you for the entire episode next week. Peace.